what time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, he's back from the dead. Your show. Putting it on the map, yeah. Saskatoon. Right next to New York. New York. Yeah, what show, yeah. Your show. What time is it? Your show. Yeah, time to talk some shit, yeah. Your show.
You've tuned in, yeah?
Yeah, fun Maggie. Bark, bark, wolf, wolf, move on to treat, yeah. Keep listening.
Marge, come on up. Let's go. It's another week. Come on up. Here, I'll even adjust your Margaret cam. Come on. Report. Hello and welcome to the Monday edition of your show, the #1 ranked podcast on YouTube and on planet Earth. When it comes to shows running out of a dingy little garage in the city of Saskatoon that features like 4 of the 8 people that are a part of the family that are under the age of 20. That's a good market, hey? We got Dragon in on the 1s and 2s today. Our sweet, beautiful boy, but he's going to be in so much more than just that once we get there. But before anything else, this woman right here we're about to introduce you to is the first ever sale for the Dufferin Ave Media Network, thanks to our friends over at Pet Planet on 8th Street, your pet's natural grocer. Yes, we knew them from before in the old days. They loved Maggie so much that when I went to Mike and Rochelle and to Leroy, Maggie's boyfriend, who's also their dog, and said, hey guys, we got something going on here. It's pretty darn cool. You want to be a part of it? They said, hell yeah. And they became the first feature, the best sale we've ever made. As we love the whole team, including Kirsten, Shar, and Chris, everybody over at Pet Planet on 8th Street, your pet's natural grocer. They're so kind. And when you walk in, not just your day, but your week, your month, your year becomes better. All right? So thank you to our friends over at Pet Planet on 8th Street. So much. We'll have to head there probably this week, so to Mike and Rochelle. And to Leroy, we'll probably make a little stop by the end of the week-ish to refill Margaret's incredible dog. Hope you had an incredible, amazing weekend, as there was a lot going on. We sure had one. I'll tell you all about that. We were at the Gambate Con over at TCU Place over the weekend. We had an actual booth. I've never been a booth person before. And as in like a person who runs a booth at a convention, I always thought it was so cool. And then sure enough, we were in there, and sure enough, it was cool. So we're going to get into that a little bit. We'll check in with Coach number 2, hopefully by Zoom, as he will be stopping by and saying hello, and hopefully he'll comment. I got my hair did. I don't know if you noticed or not. Yeah, you probably noticed. It's real, too, and it's fantastic. Last time, I knew it. See, I set an alarm. Back in the old gig, I would set alarms before the next day or when I was going on the air, whilst on the air to announce things and different thoughts. And this one's a very good one. It just says, can you see it? I can't really read it, but I'm not the best. Happy birthday, Brando! It's Uncle Brando's birthday today, so if you know him, send him a message and let him know how much you love him, because he's such a sweet, sweet dude. Co-host of the Commander Cookup podcast with Network Ryan around these parts, and he joins your show a couple times a week, and we hang out, and he will be here for the 100th episode extravaganza, scheduled to go down on Wednesday. We got a bunch of incredible guests coming in and members of the family. We're just going to celebrate all the cool stuff we've done over the past 4.5 months. So that is going to be very, very cool and exciting as well. So speaking of the guy on the 1s and 2s, he is the co-host of The Viewing Room. He is also a producer. He's a camera guy. He's a creator. He's an incredible brain, a beautiful, beautiful, majestic face. The guy is an absolute legend when it comes to everything. And he's only like 19, which is the weirdest part. Like a lot of the people here. It's a bunch of old guys and then a bunch of young guys. There's no in between. So it's kind of funny in that way. And I told him I'd like to come up here. I'd like him to come up on stage so we could chat for a while as we wait for Coach number 2, a.k.a. Coach Mazer, to come by. So with that in mind, there's the switch. Ladies and gentlemen, we won't have any mock-up music for him, obviously, because he's the guy that pushes that music. Either way, give it up for La Dragoon. What a walk-up. What a walk. Are you sweating as much as me already?
No.
Okay.
Truthfully, I don't even know if I turned this mic on, so.
Well, hold on.
We'll figure it out.
I don't think it's on because I can't hear it in my headset.
That's okay because I don't think I turned on the headset. So that's
Oh,
perfect.
okay.
I wasn't sure. I thought we were having very intimate kind of window interaction over there. So
Well, how do we
made
find
it
out
work.
now if we can hear you?
I'll talk loud. It's okay. I know it's on. We
But it's
just
gonna
recorded.
be okay. Well,
You just recorded the viewing
you're
room.
scaring me, man. Hey, look,
That's
at that.
okay.
It says right there too. New episode tomorrow. We're gonna get one.
We are.
Awesome.
Yes.
And what is it
Schedule that
on? What movie are we covering?
one. That's a great question.
We started with Forrest Gump.
I think it's
second
going
was
to
Mr.
be
and Mrs.
Fight Club.
Smith.
It's gonna be Fight Club tomorrow.
That was a good one.
And if it's not gonna be Fight Club, it will be now.
Fight Club was probably one of my favorites that you guys did. That was when you really started
you.
to like loosen up and really, get into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It takes a couple reps. We talk about reps all the time. It takes a couple reps to find your stride. But that one was really good. I won't say anything else, but it's very good.
Well, I'll maybe touch on that because
Ooh, I like this.
the whole concept of it's insane. Where we are both so passionate about movies and we have good chemistry, but we've also never done something like this before, right? So it's a lot of figuring out. And I think even just watching the first couple episodes, I'm like, man, we are saying and and pausing, and we're a scrambled mess, and we left a bunch of it in. But I do really think that in a couple months or a year of us doing this regularly, our skills are going to get so much better, and that's something I'm looking forward to. Where, we've been talking about all these episodes and all these movies, but I go back and I watch them like, man, I wish I said this, I wish I said that. And so I think the goal for us right now is to get to the point where we're really comfortable in what we want to say, and we don't have any pauses or maybe this, maybe that. It's definitive kind of responses, and we're like more filled in our shoes. And I think so far there's been a lot of progress, and you've obviously seen every single one of
So
our
good.
episodes, but
Love them.
yeah, I do think we're getting to a point where it's starting to be more fluid, and I'm really excited to see where we end up, because that's definitely something. I think growth is not anything to be ashamed of. And
Absolutely not. That's all this place is, growth. Every day
yeah,
it's growth.
essentially.
And you touched on something I think that's very important to anybody. And we talked about this at the panel at the Ganbate Con over the weekend at TCU Place. But the importance of reps, getting their reps in, and the difference between talking like you and I are, hello, nice to talk to you, and the ums
Hi.
and the ahs, and having a conversation. Like, dude, how you doing? How's it going? The ability to make an interview feel like a conversation is such a hard thing to master. And just to see you guys already, getting through that, like you said, the ums and ahs, like they just get eliminated more and more with each episode. So it's a very cool thing that you guys are doing with all that.
Yeah, and we had a bit of a head start, of course, being longtime friends and colleagues. But I do think like it is a completely different environment, and we don't have the time to necessarily have all the pleasantries, maybe,
Yeah.
because people want to see the show, and we do have a lot of fun and a lot of laughs. But at the end of the day, we have the job to do, and I think we've been getting better at it. So
I
I'm
think you
super
do
excited.
it very well.
Thank you.
And I'm very proud of both you guys, because when we even look back a couple months ago, just from building this place, the amount of learning that's gone on between you and your co-host LB, and it's just like everything else around here. We say this is what we're gonna do, and then you spend the rest of the time saying, how the hell are we gonna do this?
Right.
What do we do? What's happening?
Well-
So just working through all those problems together, I think, helps that bond as well.
Yeah, even for me, when we talk about just here, I remember the first episode where you had me up to come and kind of talk about some things. I was like, man, I look super awkward, and I look super awkward now.
No,
But
no.
I think overall there's been a lot of growth and a lot of cool things happening. And are we going further?
No, I'm just gonna try to get this over a little more. Frame it.
So
Want to frame it? There it is. Look at that. Got a little bit of the belt in there, Tight.
No, but
like
I do think as we've kind of gone through, it's been for me less awkward. I've had more of
Dude, it's not even close to less awkward. It's night and day. You would come up here and you'd just be like starstruck, like any kid would be if you're walking into a content creation studio that's literally changing the game in that no one else has one of these. We don't even know what we have. And for you to walk into that situation, obviously you're not going to be nailing it and talking like you are now. Like, you're so comfortable, and you're, it's the growth. It's all reps. That's all life is reps. That's what I'm learning.
I'm happy I fooled you, because I am starstruck right now. But
Oh, yeah.
I
Not
just play
by
off
me.
better, and that's
We
really
all
where
know
the
it's for
skill comes in.
Maggie.
Yeah, let's talk about
Thank
Gambate.
you. I wanted to, and we're going to start with this. we were walking the floor after we got our Dufferin Avenue Media Network table set up. And as we were walking around, all these different booths. And hello to everyone we saw at the convention, by the way. It was great to meet all of you, and we look forward to working with you and becoming friends with you as we move forward. One of the dealers had a table, and they had junior dragons, and they had adult dragons.
Mhm.
And I went to the lady. This is an adult dragon. You can tell by the long tail.
And I'm also an adult dragon.
You ruined my joke. I had it all set up.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You were even there for the
I'm
joke. You were
so
right beside
sorry.
me.
I'm so sorry.
So I look at this one. I say, junior dragon. I say, oh, adult dragon. I got one of those too. He's right here. And then he laughed just as much as he did now. And then the lady looked at me weird, like, are you going to buy something? And then I walked away with shame. So I had to go back and buy the adult dragon because I felt embarrassed. But it is really cool. Look at this thing. Like, look at this dragon.
And what a fantastic place to be on Saturday. We went Saturday, but it's the weekend-long
So fun.
convention.
Is it Atreyu? Was Atreyu the one from Neverending Story? The flying dragon?
Oh,
Atreyu! Not just a band? No? Nothing?
not just a band. No.
Maggie really
Aren't they
likes
making
the
it a
band.
second Never-Ending
Oh.
Story? They're doing another one.
They probably already did.
Oh,
Don't get me
maybe.
started on sequels 20 years. Unless it's Happy Gilmore. We're excited for that one.
You know, it's a fantastic place to be though, because I'm not like an anime fan. I haven't really watched much anime, but it's super cool to be in such an environment where, you know, everyone's dressing up and loving their favorite animes, and everyone's like relating to each other and getting to meet cool people. And it's like it really just feels like this cool world of people who are really passionate about like multiple different things coming together, kind of like here. And yeah, so even though I'm not an anime like connoisseur by any means, I did feel like I was having a good time because I saw other people doing exactly the same thing, having a good time, talking about what they love and what they're passionate about. And I think that's really something to look forward to when you go to those kind of things.
You said it twice there. Passion.
Passion.
I've said it numerous times around here. I'll watch a person talk about paint drying if they're passionate about it. I'll listen and I'll be engaged. And you nailed it. Every person there is so passionate about whether it's the cosplay they're wearing or, you know, the company they're supporting, whatever it is, everyone there is there because they know they're going to be welcomed and they know they're going to be surrounded by passionate people who are passionate about the same things that they are.
Mhm.
And that's the special thing. I was the most fish out of water guy you've ever seen in there. I was walking around with my other Young, I guess I have a bunch of Young Bucks shirts. I had my Death by Super Kick shirt on. No sleeves, of course, because I'm a degenerate. And I had half my braids in and one was out, and I just looked disheveled. And I was disheveled. And as I was walking around, not a single unhappy person. Smiles everywhere, and I felt so welcome. Like, even though I felt I was a fish out of water and everyone sort of could tell I wasn't, you know, the target audience for someone to be there, at the same time, they welcomed me. I had a lady named Alyssa who was running a different booth, and she had come over. And we've talked numerous times on this very show about how I have crippling anxieties, and I'm horrified of crowds, and this is all built up over years and years. To the point where Network Ryan was telling me that, hey, dude, it's all good. Just don't think about it. Just don't think about it. He said that about 4 or 5 times as I'm like literally crawling in my skin because there's about 1,000 people everywhere. And he says, just don't think about it. Just don't think about it. So I finally said, okay, Network Ryan, you know that leg thing you got there, that broken leg? Just don't think about it, all right? It'll be fine. It won't bug you. And he looks at me and goes, ooh, yeah, good one. Yeah, you got me there a little bit. I was like, yeah, well, and that's sort of how it is. But even then, by the end of it, I was comfortable in that environment. You know what I mean? Because you forget about all those head issues and you just start caring about why you're there and what you're doing. Like the panel we spoke at 3 o'clock. I shouldn't say we. It was a Commander Cookout panel with Uncle Brando and your good friend Ryan. And it was a fantastic experience because I'd never been to a convention before, let alone a speaker panel. So they were doing their thing, and then at one point he sort of threw it over to me after about like 20 minutes or so. Because I wasn't sure if I was to jump in and say anything or if I should be involved, because it wasn't a Dufferin Avenue Media Network panel. This was the CCO panel. So it's like, yeah, you guys, this is your moment. You go shine. But Ryan had thrown it over to me because there was a dude there who was looking to get into voice acting. And a lot of our things that we do here involve voice acting in some way. Like even an audio podcast is voice casting in a way.
Sure.
Right? And so they're speaking on this panel, and this kid wanted to know, like, what do we got to do? What are the tips? And I said, and I was actually pretty proud of it because I've never spoken at anything like that before. So just to to have Network Ryan throw it to me confidently enough to know that I wouldn't bomb their whole panel was like a nice little tip in the cap. But I talked about believing in yourself, and I know it's the most overused, lamest, cliched thing you can possibly say. But they had set up to that moment talking about the different things that you need to do and be to get to the level that they are at. And I said, when I first started this place, if I didn't believe in what I was doing, why the hell would anyone else? And I wouldn't expect them to the point where I got told that I was completely insane. Insane. This will never work. You're an idiot. You're dumb. You're wasting time. What is wrong with you? And through all of that, I always believed that I could make this happen. My whole issue was getting everyone else to believe.
I'm so sorry for saying that.
No, you weren't the only one. But the thing being, once I convinced my dad, because he saw how hard we were working here, but he has no, to this day, he still doesn't really know what it is. But once you have dad convinced, without even knowing what it is, that you're doing something really cool and really groundbreaking, then grandma follows suit. My grandma, I told this story at the panel too, my granny, who I love so much, told me, you can't trust anyone. You mean you have people helping you with this? You cannot trust a single soul on this earth. You're crazy. And I really upset her. And Granny, I know she's not watching, but if she was, I'm apologizing. I looked her in the eyes and I said, Granny, I would die for every single person that's involved with this project. And she says, well, I've heard it all now. And just classic Granny move, like just get out of here with your garbage. But to go from that to 2 months later where she says, how can I help? I don't know what you're doing, but I am here for you. What can I do? And I sort of told that story in a longer form. And it led to another like 15-minute conversation with the crowd and the panel about the importance of becoming confident without being cocky, I guess is what it is. And that was another thing we talked about, where you have to talk to someone so they know that you mean what you're saying without you bragging about it. And there's like a fine line. It's just being in a panel was really cool. That's I think the point.
I think there is some congratulations offered to all the people who ask questions at these panels, and to Evan, who was learning some of that voiceover stuff. You know, it's very tough to ask questions and ask the right questions to help guide you on the path you want. So to go up in front of other people and ask those kinds of questions for an answer, I think requires a level of bravery and commitment to what you want to do. And so very proud of everyone who stood up and asked questions to Ryan and Brando and Gary. And yeah, I think good on you. You're on the right path. And as long as you're willing to learn and ask those questions.
You, it's us, buddy. It's good on us. That's what everyone needs to understand. And that's why I try very, very hard to make sure I never use the words I, me, or my.
Well, I stayed with the booth, but they did the panel.
I did leave halfway to be like, if you want to come up, you can come up, but they might throw something to me. I don't know. It was such a weird setup. But the second you use I, me, or my, I'm out. Because it's like, I don't care what you were doing. Tell me about the actual people that are doing work. Because if I were to sit here and say I, my, I'd be lying. Because I don't do or know anything around here. So this will never, and it never was. From the very start, this was never a singular thing. This is all of us. And the only way this moves forward and grows and becomes better is because of all of us. Because all I have as a talent, and it's not even that good, dare I say, is the ability to talk. The ability to have a conversation. I don't know how to set up cameras, microphones, lights. I don't know how to work computers. I don't know what social media is. I don't know any of that. I do know how to sit down with you, my sweet dragon.
He's saying I a lot for someone who says he doesn't say I.
I take it back. There's one more I for you.
Yeah, there you go.
Point being, this is how this works. So, and as I've watched YouTube, that's the other biggest change in my entire life. I've started watching YouTube. I'm watching YouTubers and I'm listening to these guys talk, and holy cow. I'd say about 99% of the people on YouTube are so proud and so happy that they have a YouTube page that they don't even care about the content about it. They don't care what they're putting out there. They want to be able to say, I have a YouTube page. I am a YouTuber. And you can see it so blatantly, and it just drives me bonkers, because how are we supposed to become a part of this, what you're doing? Because it looks and feels like it's just you doing this, dude. And you're so proud to be able to say that you're doing that. But what are you really doing? Jaded is my point. And I knew I wouldn't like YouTube, But as we move into it, it's like, well, I guess I have to watch what everyone else is doing. And it always makes me feel better knowing no one else does it the way we're doing it. You know?
Yeah.
That we can find anyway. So. Ganbate over the weekend. Did you have a lot of fun?
I had a lot of fun. Like I said, for someone who doesn't watch anime or do stuff like that, going to an anime convention, I had probably the most fun you could have, and I had a great time.
And dare I say, you were schmoozing with the best of them. A lot of these places, it's about, making connections and talking to people. And my friend Alyssa from the other booth who came over and told me I was doing every single thing wrong if I wanted to attract people to the booth. And I said, thank God, I was worried I wasn't doing that. Because I was hiding in the corner, and she went by all of them. But
That's why I stayed with the booth.
and we all know it though, and we're aware of my situations with all this. Point being, it was an amazing, incredible, fantastic weekend, and you, dude, I see salesman in your future. I look at you, I walk around with you, you shake hands, you introduce yourself, you overcome all of my biggest fears, and you did it with such grace and beauty throughout all 3 levels of TCU Place. Like you went to, what's the name of the dudes that are starting a new game?
Durf Party.
The Durf Party. You walked in there like you're around, and they were looking at you like you were like king of the world. Like, oh, Ethan. And I was like, I'm just hanging out here, guys. I didn't want to get in the way of you working your thing. But those are your people.
Well,
and you go up to your people, and it's just instant love. And I really enjoy seeing you thrive in environments like that.
yeah, and I won't dispute like that. Eye contact and a good old handshake is a great way to start getting to know someone and just talking to them and learning what they have to say. I think
just being kind, right? And just
Yeah.
having the willingness to have a conversation is half the battle. That's what I learned in the booth. Like I was looking away and crossing my arms and closing myself off from every single person that walked by because I was scared to talk to them. And you were the exact opposite. And that was cool to see. Did you have any favorite booths or anything like that? I don't like Uncle Brando was making the joke about how, man, we're walking out with way more bags, boys, than we walked in with because everyone was buying stuff.
I gotta say the booth I spent the most time at was the Reyes booth.
Shut them out.
Shout out to Doug and Sean from Reyes. They had a nice booth there.
They promised us they're going to come for a tour, so we're going to hold you guys to that, by the way.
Yeah, it was fantastic, and obviously they're taking people for this next semester of film school. And the
How can people get
semesters
signed
after
up for that?
I'll just head over to the Reyes website, Reyes SK.
Do they make it easy? Of course they do.
Easy.
They're
They make it so easy.
a media school.
Yeah, fantastic instructors. That's where I went. Had a great time in film school, and I will forever be grateful and thankful that I got to have that experience. And I think if you're interested in content creation or filmmaking or animation, game design, stuff like that, you should totally give them a look and go for a tour, 100% free, and just hear what they have to say. I think it's one of the most valuable things I've ever done with my life.
And they were right beside the scat booth, and they had 3 little kitties in there in the street cut, which was super cute. And I told the lady I can't go and look closer because if I do, I'll leave with one. Because we need a studio cat, and Megan needs a friend to play with.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I had to stay away. It was hard. So that was going on, and we walk around and we find all our things like Adult Dragon, who I love so much, and we talk to your old teachers who tell you about this and that. We meet, we introduce ourselves. My biggest takeaway from this anime con, Ganbate 2024 at TCU Place, was this. How in the hell were we the only table at the entire convention that was offering voice recording, or a voice recording booth, I guess, voice recording as a whole, the ability to come in and make a voice demo, okay? The ability to do an audition tape for you to send to different people and say, hey, I want to get into anime. Here's what my voice sounds like. How is every person there a fan of something, and yet not a single other table besides the Dufferin Avenue Media Network was there to say, hey, I know you want to get into this, voicing for anime. We have a booth here where you can do that. We connected with so many people that want to get into that in some way. It's like, dude, this thing is so new. The Death Star, we call it. The Death Star is so new. We are still figuring out like the timings that we can set out for blocking off for you to come in and do this thing. And the demand was incredible because we put up the signs. You see the microphones, you see the cameras, and you see, okay, well, these guys are doing something media-wise. And then everyone who walked over would start talking about how they want to get into doing some podcasting or how they want to get into doing some voice acting. They want to start voicing for anime. They want to do all these things. Like, is it because there is no other place like us around that does that? Every single person said it's too expensive. Like, well, welcome to budget. We budget here. We make it affordable for people because we are just like you. We are people who don't have a lot of money. So we will make it all about chasing dreams, all about getting you in, get that voice demo ready and get it out there and start trying to get in this business instead of just going to the conventions all the time. Like,
Right.
why were we the only ones there?
Well, I mean, maybe part of it's the right place, right time, but I like to think it's because, around here we're doing a lot of different things and trying a lot of new things.
Yes.
Um,
Ain't that the truth?
and I think for people too, there's a lot of people around the world who are very passionate about something and they want to follow their dream. And maybe this dream is voice acting and doing stuff like that, but they don't have maybe the resources or they haven't a lot of the time to it. And it makes it very hard to kind of start doing it, right? Because
There's always going to be a million different reasons not to.
well,
right?
exactly. If
Yeah.
you don't want to spend the money or you're not sure if you 100% have the time and it takes so much out of your day and it's like it's super hard to get into something new. You kind of get stuck in the same routine. If you're truly passionate about it, obviously you find a way to try and make it work as best as you can. But when there's an opportunity like this to come in and just try it out, I think it opens a lot of doors for people and maybe awakens a passion that they didn't even know they had. And so I think that's a real gift that we can give to people, especially going to conventions like this and meeting people who share in a lot of the same passions and want to have those opportunities, but maybe just haven't reached them yet. And I think you can kind of accelerate that process a bit.
I love when you talk. You're so smart. And
Yeah.
that's true. We were the only ones there because no one else thought about it. And that is literally the life story of this incredible media network. The reason I'm looking at my phone, I'm not disrespecting my Sweet People Dragon anyway. Coach Mazer says he might be ready to go for a little Zoom.
Perfect.
So we're going to try it out. You know him from the viewing
You want me
room.
to say
You
the
know
thing?
him from so many other things, including being the love of my life and producing and doing all this stuff.
Love
What's
of
the thing?
his life.
What's the thing?
Well, I should say, quick announcement.
Here we go.
I'm leaving for a month.
That thing. Oh, we could.
Yeah.
Oh, are we lifting the? What's that thing called? The
Well,
embargo.
I just
Embargo
say
can
real
suck
quickly.
it. Here we go. I'm staying away.
Gonna go work on a movie for a month. I won't say too much about it because of things, but I'm gonna be gone. So this has been nice. It'll be the last time I'm on the show, aside from maybe a surprise later in the week. But yeah. Otherwise, I'm gone. This is it. Farewell.
I didn't know you were going to acknowledge this. You're going to make me cry. I don't want to cry.
Well, I just figured. This is the last time.
You dragon. You. Not this dragon. Not you dragon. You dragon. I remember when I was walking around the convention like this?
Yeah.
I feel like I was cool. And then it got caught in my hair and you had to get it out. You are a perfect example of how this place can change the course of a human being's life. Before we started this thing, you were just a guy that did some stuff. Now, you're a guy who built and operates a fully functional 3-tier content creation studio. You are a guy who, if you want millions of views, you do that too. Maybe 2 million, maybe 3. We'll see where it ends up. You're a guy who only wants to chase his dream of working in film. And you have an opportunity to do that. And we will never, ever get in the way of anything that you do, my friend, because you're so not only respected and loved, but important to this place. So when you get back, we're going to put you into full gear. You said you wanted to network Ryan it. We'll get you Shadow and Network
Yeah,
Ryan.
there
We'll
we
see how
go.
you like a taste of that.
Yeah.
But thank you for all that you do, buddy. I'm very excited for
Thank
you.
you.
And you did say you might be able to zoom in every now and then while you're out there?
Yeah,
Keep us
maybe.
updated?
In the meantime, check out the viewing room. We've pre-recorded a bunch, so you hopefully won't miss me too much.
In the Meantime is a really good Space Hog song, by the way.
Yeah.
I can hit the high note.
This is my walk-off music. You're gonna sing me off the stage like an Oscars speech. Yeah.
The streets and the skies are blue. I'm making up words now.
Yeah.
Hey, thank
Well,
you so much, buddy.
Thank
Get
you
in
for
there.
having me.
Let's see if we got
we'll
Coach
see you
up
guys
here.
October.
His name is La Dragoon. Watch that. Yeah, see, you're always good at dodging the TV. Well, you did there. The old Dragoon Festival. I legit love that man, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to say that on the air, off the air, everywhere, in between. Oh, I think that's why I'm sweating so much. As we are halfway through the Monday edition of your show, I put my hair out, and now I'm so sweaty. Is that how hair works? Just nod, yes? Yeah, if you have your hair out like this, you just sweat so much more. God, that looks good, though. You know, I feel like I should be like a hair singer for... What the heck? Come on! Did he really do that? Yeah. Oh, you're going to get bad feedback on that, bro. I texted you. Now, I thought you meant 2 minutes for the Zoom. Come on, 2 minutes. To midnight? Oh, 2 minutes to midnight. 2 minutes to midnight. Coach is here. Coach 2. You got to turn your phone off, or else you're going to get the double feedbacks, and then it's going to be real gnarly. Yeah, we're live, by the way. Monday to Friday, 4 to 5 p.m. here on YouTube. As well, you can watch and or listen to the audio versions, if that's what you're into, as those get uploaded every day as well. Anywhere you find, where do you find your audio version podcasts, sir?
Apple Pods and Spotify.
Apple Pods, Spotify, Amazon. Oh, thank you. My sister Stacy says, amazing hair, very Fabio. Oh, you. You think hey, Coach, do you think I could be on the cover of a novel? No, what's the Spanish term? The novella? Telenovela? You think I could be on the cover of a novella? I don't know what that is. Hey, let's get some walk-up music, all right? You know him from Dude Podcast. You know him as the right hand to the throne. You know him as Coach number 2. Oh, and you even got it. He even played it for you. He's doing it right now. Can you hear it? Walk-up music.
Sits so low here. Dragon's a low sitter.
No, not him. Never.
get this
He's
up
got
a
a
little
top torso. It's his last day today. You know anything nice you want to say to him?
What, like last day for what?
Before he goes off to his movie, super secret movie that we can talk about.
Yeah, it's not his last day ever.
Until he's gone for a month. That's a
For a
pretty big
month.
deal.
It's a huge deal for him. I'm excited.
Not as I just looked at your face. Not as a huge deal as you shaving. Did you have a meeting today or something? Did you shave for the camera?
I shave every once in a while.
He looks really good, eh? He looks like a different... I didn't even notice till
shave
he
all
sat
the time.
down. Not like that. Like
Yeah.
you bicked that, bro.
You know what's funny is when
Smooth
you,
as eggs.
I don't buy razors very often,
Razor's
and I
edge.
found some fresh ones, so I forgot what it felt like to not rip hair from your face.
Dude, last time I shaved that low was when I decided that I was going to grow a beard, because I would do it, and then my entire face would just be zits. Zrup, zrup, and just wherever I shaved, the worst zits.
Look how it's red from the sun and then white here from... yeah, you're right. It must have had little...
I told
5
you, yeah,
o'clock
though.
the
Yeah,
whole
that's why it
time.
stands out. God, you look good, though. You didn't cut the hair, though, did you?
No,
It looks like
I'm
you-
gonna shave it. I'm gonna get rid of it. I'm cutting it
No.
myself or getting.
You said you're going to let it go. Let it go with me. Once you get to this one, then we can both shave it together.
and crimp it every day.
No, these crimps are special. It
I've
takes
had a
lot
rough
of work.
day, Gary. It was really busy, and you know what happens when you're
Sorry.
short-staffed or you're
Oh,
struggling to have someone on a show. So you call your buddy Ryan to say, "Hey, can you get
I wasn't
here?"
too desperate, was I?
A little bit.
Shout out to
desperate.
Wendy Brooks Media, by the way. She was supposed to be here. Egg retrieval processing
busy.
has made her Tim Tum still. Her recovery is going a little longer than expected. So I call this guy.
What
We need
happened?
you, please, please, please. We need you, please. Come on.
She's sick.
Well, she's got some tummy issues from egg retrieval surgery.
What is that?
It's where they go in and they take your eggs
Oh,
out.
egg retrieval. What it sounded like to me was egg retrieval, and I was just like, "That's a new surgery."
Egg retrieval. That'd be like.
Egg.
I feel like that's what you're doing when you are going and digging up underground crops like potatoes or carrots. Egg retrieval.
Egg retrieval. Egg retrieval. I thought you were saying.
Very interesting.
So first thing this morning, I had a phone call on a guy, and I deal with in the construction industry, so I get calls that I sometimes don't field anymore because I manage the branch and I have an inside sales guy, but he was off today. I took the phone call and someone wanted something that was 20 linear feet. So I wrote that quickly down on a piece of paper.
Linear feet?
Linear feet. So that's
What's the linear?
like
I know,
like
I
this
know
thing.
linear, yeah, but
this
so
thing would be
2.5 linear feet.
2.5 linear feet. So that'd be 2 LF. Okay, 2
2
LF.
LF, baby.
So someone needed something that was 20 LF. Okay.
Okay.
And I wrote that down, and then I went and did something else, and then came back to my notes saying, "Okay, I got to tackle this thing." And I looked down, and sometimes when I rush, my 2s look like Zs. So I was like, "What the hell did I mean by Zolf?" And that took a solid 5 minutes of my day trying to figure out what Zolf was. I was like, I know what this skew means. What the hell is Zolf? Like, what did 5.5 minutes ago Ryan mean by Zolf?
I just
So
watched
then I
Billy
realized
Madison.
what type of day I was going to have.
I just watched Billy Madison.
Mm.
And when Veronica Vaughn asked Billy to spell risotto,
I don't remember.
risotto,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
he can't do the Z's. Like, that's not fair. It's the name. It's not even a word.
I remember that.
Z's are hard to draw, man. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, he couldn't remember.
That's the second Happy Gil. Oh, that's Billy Madison. We did a Subway Happy Gilmore reference earlier, which was pretty good.
I went on something you told me not to, a little
no, there
rabbit
he
trail
goes.
on the social medias about Forrest Gump.
Why would you do that?
And I was going to send it to you guys today, but I was really busy. I wanted to get
real
Ethan's
life
opinion.
gets in the way a lot.
It was
You can ask him
it was
now.
a Tom Hanks thing. Well, no, we won't get into it. You know where I'm going with that.
Oh no,
Hey.
no conspiracies here.
All
All right,
right.
there's enough of those on the
What's
internet.
Maggie doing?
She's getting amped up.
For what?
Because you're here.
Hmm.
The gang's all here as we continue hanging out. We got Coach 2 in the house.
What are we talking about?
I
today
wanted to
there,
talk to you about
man?
fantasy football, my friend, if that's okay.
It is, yeah. I just had my big draft. So if you recall,
Friday
years
night.
ago, we did a dude podcast,
Dude,
and
podcast. I like your new idea, by the way, for that.
mhm. And so we did one where I was
On the
not.
phone.
I was on the phone at a draft, and it was terribly funny.
Yeah.
But I wasn't very present for that draft. But anyway, it was at the same guy's house, and we had our little event, and
Took you a while to find the place, eh?
it didn't actually.
Everything's a lie. The cake's a lie.
No,
portal
we were
joke.
talking to
Never
each other,
played
and I was
Portal.
like, "Yeah, I think I'm lost," but I ended up finding it perfectly.
Okay,
like I've
well, I
been
take
there
it
all the
back
time.
then. You really made it feel like you were lost for a while.
What do you want to talk about?
We did an auction draft. Auction draft for the Bobby Good Times draft. Shout out to Mano for
You
putting the
switched
place
it
up,
up?
which was fantastic. Well, this is one of my big three.
And you've always done auction drafts?
It's been a couple years now.
Is
for
it an
sure.
auction for a rookie, or is it always a redraft?
It's always redraft, but this is what I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
For the first year, we're implementing a 3-keeper rule.
Mm-hmm.
And in auction drafts, as you can tell, that could become a bit complicated. But with that, apparently the plan was, I made sure they explained it to me a couple times. I had a couple milligrams in me from the pineapple candies that I got. So I really wanted to make sure I understood this
Too
because
much sugar. You're on a sugar high.
I was on a sugar high. Sugar high. Who sings that song? Was that from Empire Records? Sugar High.
I don't like Ethan's sitting.
Well,
What'd
can
you
make it
do
true.
to this thing,
You
Ethan?
can make it. Just make it true.
Right.
So 3 keepers, and whatever they are projected at for the next year, whoever you keep, it's a
Yeah.
$5 on top of whatever that projection is for the amount that you pay. So say Christian McCaffrey's 69 auction dollars. If you want to keep him for the next year, it'll be 74. That sort of thing.
I get it.
So with that in mind, I roll in there, and I'm world famous for having the least amount of fun at these drafts because I throw money around like a crazy man for the first about 10 minutes, and then I do nothing for the next 2.5 hours.
Right.
And I stuck to that. We got Patty Mahomes for $26. I've never had
Overpay.
Tyreek Hill before.
Overpay on the Mahomes.
No, not compared to the market.
Disagree.
Thank you, though. Thank you
How
for
many?
ripping
How
on
many
him.
QB?
Okay.
How many QBs? Is it a QB2, QB1?
One QB.
One QB.
Yeah.
There's 10 guys that'll have. So maybe Mahomes puts up 400 fantasy points for you. At worst, that 10th guy is going to be 300. Like there's only going to be 100 gaps. So what? I don't think you got value there. You could have spent that elsewhere. You're going to lose this year. Sorry. Okay, go on.
Never had Tyreek Hill before, so really wanted him. So I
Yeah,
threw
for
down
sure.
a $69 bid, which scared everyone off. And then the third guy I
sure.
wanted was Marvin Harrison. I was thinking in terms of keepers. Who am
Yeah,
I going
that
to
was
overpay
smart.
for to keep keepers for the next 3 years? So I wanted Harrison,
But you don't
I
want
wanted
to
Hill,
pay for the keepers.
and I wanted Mahomes. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I want them. So whatever the projection is next year, like it's the next year's projection, not this
Yeah.
one. It's only $5 more. And I wanted Marvin Harrison, and I knew Marvin Harrison going into this as an Arizona Cardinals fan.
Oh,
I
it's
am a
not
huge,
$5
huge-
over what you paid for.
No, it's whatever it is the next year.
Okay, that's not so.
So with him, he was projected to sit around 45 auction dollars, which is insane for a wide
a rookie.
receiver who's a rookie coming
Yeah.
into the Arizona Cardinals of all teams. As a Cardinals fan for a long time, I can tell you,
Mm-hmm.
it's a rough setup. With him coming in, I decided to shock the system. I said, I'm going to hit it with $54 and make sure no one else even tries to dance with me because I want this guy
Yeah.
for the next 3 years. So obviously everyone laughs like, "Oh, you're so dumb, this and that." Like, yeah, I am. I really wanted my guy. I'm willing to pay 12 to 15 bucks over budget to make sure I get my guy, who I got. Now next year, if he does have a good year, he'll still be around that 45, 46, so I can even make money back by just having to pay $5 extra on whatever his new projection is.
If he's lights out, though, he might be 55 and
That's
then
true.
60,
Then-
and then you don't want to keep him,
But I do want to keep him because if he's doing that, then that means that he won me a league.
potentially.
The rest of my team is garbage, is the point. So I spent
was it? It was
3/4 of my budget on
$200?
3 guys, $200 total, and between those 3, I was at like I think I had $52 left for the rest of the draft. I got the running back in Dallas, who is not Ezekiel Elliott. I got the running back Blake Corum. I'm a huge Michigan Wolverines guy. Blake Corum, who is in LA behind Kyrie, and I'm hoping he will take over. And then I got a Raheem Mostart, for cheap because they have like a 4-man freaking running back field there now.
Who knows,
Over
he's gonna be the
Miami,
guy.
and then we got one other guy who wasn't very good. And I got George Kittle.
Kittle.
Got Kittle for $13. I was pretty happy about that. So that was the rundown of the Bobby Goodtimes draft on Friday night.
8
Saturday
guys in the
night.
draft.
10, I believe.
10 or
12,
12?
maybe 12. I
12.
think it's 12, yeah.
Okay, then not as bad for
Yeah.
12.
So and my point of this entire spiel that I just took you on, sorry if it wasn't as enjoyable as it is up here, having the ability to know for the first time we're doing keepers and going out and getting the 3 guys that I wanted to keep, I thought was a successful draft moving forward as an organization. But this year might be a little bit rough. That's what I'm learning.
How much buy-in?
$125.
Okay.
Very doable.
So
Can I get a
if you
recap of yours?
Well, ours is a.
Don't sound too excited.
Well, it's a.
And don't hide your beautiful face with that microphone.
All
I
right.
don't like that.
There's
There you
5.
go.
Yeah, we have a 4-keeper draft, and then rookies can be kept in the 8th round.
Nice.
So
How many guys in the league?
There's 10.
Okay.
And your second year, your sophomores, can be kept in the 2nd round. So
Okay.
you can sacrifice a 2nd round pick for it, which you guys usually do.
Like that.
So I had Lamar Jackson.
I love him.
I
He's
had
so good.
Saquon Barkley.
Ooh,
I
he
had-
went for a pretty penny over in Philly now, hey?
I had Travis Etienne.
Interesting. I don't get too excited for that guy.
No, and
No.
I had
It's because he breaks hearts.
Jalen Waddle.
I like him. He does the penguin. whenever he
And I
scores.
had, as my 2nd rounder, I had Olave.
The Olave branch.
And
Give him an
then
Olave branch. That's the joke, right?
I love it when you call me Big Papa, is mine. Love it when you call
Oh,
me
Olave it when you call me Big Papa.
Big.
Take care, bro. Have a great day. We're talking fantasy football as it is
And
fantasy
I
football
had,
season with coach number 2 here.
Sorry, I got distracted there.
Yep.
And then I had Zay Flowers.
Not to be confused with Zay Jones. There's a lot of Zays out there.
Zay Flowers was my guy. So then, then the draft went. So it's like when you have that many keepers, I'm pretty
There's
much
not much
saying
there, yeah.
everyone of significance after. There's some solid picks that went on in the draft, but I don't think I did that well.
That's the one problem with keeper leagues is you take a lot of the talent pool out when you have keepers. So I like in our DAFL draft, shout out to all the boys in the DAFL, got Wednesday night, I believe, is the big draft this year. That's a 1-keeper draft. And the rule is you can keep anybody, and this is how you keep that talent pool full. You can keep anybody that you have drafted after the 4th round. So 5th round and up, you can keep them. And
That's
last
fun.
year,
That's a sleeper keeper.
so last year, I kept, who was it? Isaiah Pacheco, and we come in, but during the draft, I had drafted Jonathan Taylor and Alvin Kamara because they were both suspended or missed the start of the year in the 6th round. So
who did you pick?
I picked Jonathan Taylor as my keeper, which is
Nice.
unheard of, but he was one of those guys that sort of sneaked through. So having did that, I also traded away my entire draft this year, which I forgot about. So I don't have a single pick in the draft until the 4th round.
That's okay.
So I have Jonathan Taylor, but I don't pick until the 4th round in the old DAFL going on this Wednesday.
So that seems terrible, actually.
It's not good.
Yeah.
It's very not good. I've
Did
done
you
this
win,
before. I
though?
second.
Okay,
so
then you're
close.
fine. That's
I
the
had
whole
second
point.
in that one, second in the Bobby Good Times, and then we got the fantasy hand egg going on next Thursday and Friday. So I will not be in studio. We have to figure out if we're going to have guest hosts. I heard you're going to guest host. I heard LB might guest host next Thursday and Friday.
Interesting.
So you make sure you can figure
This
that one
next, like a week from.
out. Yeah, not this coming.
That'll be tough.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We just need a
figure it
couple
out.
guest hosts. Maybe you can guest host at home. If you want to guest host the show, hit us up right here. Contact at Dufferin.com.
Why don't you host
or
the
Dufferin Ave,
draft
Dufferin. Head
here?
right there.
Or that'd be too much.
Well, it's already all set. Loser has to host. So whoever finishes in last place has to decide the event and the hosting. And we also
Okay.
have, it's also incorporated, this is the one that I love talking to you about,
Mhm.
with the Wing King and Pistol Pete and Sweet Ass and former NHL attendee to the great Tim Chevelday.
Oh yeah, yes.
Chevy's in there, him and Queener. So we do a golf match before the draft. And it's
Fun.
2 teams of 4. We do the scramble best ball thing or whatever. And whichever team wins, all 4 of those guys gets an extra $10 of auction draft money.
Oh, this is another auction draft.
And this is the one that I won last year. This is the high stakes one. So it's very exciting. We're doing it in town here for the draft and for the golf, and then we head out to new stately Trumpy Manor out by Echo Bay there for the rest of it. So it's not just a draft; it's an entire weekend of things that you get to do when you're hanging out with your best buddies.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So,
So-
Trumpy moved.
I know
Or
this is
his
cabin. This is
This
cabin.
is the cabin
Yeah, and it's
that he's been talking about for a while.
I can't wait for you to see it. It is awesome.
Did
I
he
haven't
build
seen
the
it yet.
one where? Oh, you haven't.
Nope.
Do you know what it looks like?
Oh, I've seen all the pictures. Yeah, there a lot of work's been going in there. They had the exterminator
Did he
spend
build
the
the
weekend out
over
there.
top, like the garage underneath and the over top? Or
I'm not
no?
really sure.
He probably switched that up.
He's been doing a lot of cool things. That's all I really know about that. So you're not pumped about your first draft that you've done. I'm not pumped about my first draft, but I am pumped about the future as it turned into a keeper league.
Yeah, no, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Keepers are fun.
This is
I
also
think you get a little bit more depth. Your knowledge expands on what you define as a good player, or a worthy thing to talk about. I'm nervous because I don't know if the audience is much for fantasy football, so I'm concerning.
this
if
is
your
exactly
mom's enjoying
how I
this.
can fix this.
Okay,
So to my mom and anyone else who
Oh, and your
is
sister?
watching this, and my sister,
she loves fantasy football.
you have about 10 more days, I believe, before you lose your spouse, be it your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whoever it is that's the big fantasy football fan that you know in your life. You got 10 more days before they become all consumed in fantasy sports again. I saw guys that were actually
Yeah.
giving their partners like a written form saying, like, just so you know, I'm about to go back to work, so anything you want to get done, get it to me before this time. And they get like signed as a contract and stuff. Football season, baby.
Yeah, I saw someone that gets creative with that, and he recorded giving his wife. They're quitting. He quits on these days being a husband. Have you
Mhm.
seen that one?
No, but I can
Just
relate.
just like, I quit on Thursday.
It's like a letter
and
of
Sunday.
resignation,
Yeah, but not a full letter. Just like
just for these days.
blocking those days
Yeah.
off for the next 6 months.
Well, and that's the best part of this entire thing is that the NFL will not rest, will not sleep until we got football every day of the week, baby. We got
think so?
Sunday, we got Monday, we got Thursday.
I
They
hate
brought-
Thursday.
they brought
I hate Thursday.
Lots of people do. I love it. They brought Friday in. They got Saturday. So it's just basically Tuesday and Wednesday that we're waiting for.
For a viewership side of things, I enjoy the Thursday night
Yeah.
game. For a fantasy football
Oh, yeah, she
standpoint,
catches you.
not a big fan
Not
of it.
setting your rosters in time. Is this what you're
Well,
getting
it
at?
doesn't affect
do
the
that a
whole
lot.
weekend, but it's like if you have a team there, and like once you get a little bit deeper down the roster, if you have somebody that you want at the flex spot, you got to be on it where you put maybe that guy, your wide out, in that WR spot. Like
Yeah.
if you have flex spots, so that if someone
Totally.
gets hurt, you can switch things up on the weekend. You know what I mean? You got to have those
Yeah.
players that are playing Thursday in that lock spot, so you're not wasting flexibility on the weekend. And that's something that I don't pay attention to much anymore.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, and I get
And-
burnt a little bit.
That's what I was worried about last year. Once fantasy football manager became my full-time job and like the only job that I had,
Yeah.
I lost the ability to sit down at a computer and go over all of my teams, go over the wires, go over any deals I'd possibly entertain or I would put out. A lot of my time at my other job was spent doing fantasy sports stuff.
I don't think you're supposed to say that.
I think we can say it now, can't we?
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, it's fine. Like, most of my time went into doing my job, but a tiny little bit of it went
Yeah.
into fantasy sports.
But that could be
And that
relatable
bit's
if
gone.
it was something for you to talk about. Or
Well,
whatever,
that's
so
what I
it's-
mean. I talked about every day on the show. It was show prep, but it was the prep was also me managing these teams.
Right.
For the first time in a long time, I actually won one, went to the finals of 2 others once I didn't go in every day and spend that little tiny amount of time at work doing these things. Once I took myself out of it and stopped overthinking it so much, all of a sudden I found success. I think there's something to that as well.
Big time. I'm in a 25 player keeper in a baseball.
Oh yeah,
thing.
for baseball, that's good.
That makes sense.
That's
though,
the one
right?
I'm in.
You're not in it. That's a 6 player keeper. That
25 keepers?
That concerned me that you don't know what we do and you've been in there for 10 years.
We all know I'm a baseball
12 years.
donation. I don't think I've even. I
You've
might
come
have snuck in the
close.
playoff once.
You've come close, but anyway,
Because
yeah,
you
this
always set my
25
keepers for me.
this 25 player one, not for cash. Like I don't know these guys. We've tried to make it for money, but these people are all over the place. But it's been a consistent group. But the scoring is pretty traditional. But it is interesting where you have to study future rookies and you're looking at the top 100 list of players that are up and coming. So you have your starting lineup, and then you have guys on the bench and stuff like that that you're kind of
Dynasty draft.
holding. Do you have taxi squads in your
No,
drafts? That's
No.
something they should.
that would be cool.
That's something you should add.
If you're wondering what that is at home, it's sort of like a different little spot where you can stash players and move them up and down from the different levels. So from majors to AAA type of thing.
Could be for baseball or for
Yeah.
football. It's
I'm
just
just trying to
someone
present it
off
that way.
the roster.
Like a practice roster.
Like you could draft a rookie and then maybe he doesn't
Yeah.
enter. You don't add him, but once you promote him, they go on. Anyway, I lost interest with this.
No, that's good. I was going to ask you about Bowden Francis before we let you out for the day. The Blue Jays.
Yeah,
Starting to make baseball fun again once they embrace this whole, let's play the young guys. Let's see what the future has to hold.
Maggie is looking for something.
She knows
to
it's
do
supper
right
time.
now.
She knows that we are
Um,
so close to supper time.
Yeah, well, in our
good,
in our
Bowden Francis,
super
dude.
draft, so we have the Reds and the Blue Jays.
So good.
Very terrible.
Yeah.
But it's so good that they're both putting some wins together lately. The
Yeah.
Blue Jays have been
Fun to watch, man.
fun to
I
watch.
found
They haven't
myself
been winning
watching
all the
again.
time, but it's
Bowden Francis going out and ruining a no-no with a dinger in the 9th inning the other night was one of the funnest things because I thought, oh, here we go. It's just as long as it's not a dinger. Like you can lose it, maybe that's fine, but just don't, give the momentum. Sure enough, dinger.
yeah. But he's been solid for 3 straight starts.
20 strikeouts,
Mm-hmm.
1 run allowed in what was it? 8, and
18.
yeah, damn near 18, 19 innings.
Yep.
Like something insane. And we're talking about a guy who came in with a 4.5 ERA, a guy who's been up and down, 28 years old, never really has showed any signs of something like this. And then to come in and do it at this level and the way
Yeah.
he did it was so fun to watch. And that's the type of shit that gets you going and cheering for next year. Seeing a guy like that step up.
Unless you're jaded and you've been
Don't worry
super
about
jaded. I got you, bro.
Thanks,
Unless you got a little bit jaded and you just know that it's probably not real life. Like this might be a flash in the pan
Oh,
sort
for
of
sure.
thing,
How many
and then
times have
he's
we
going to
seen those?
regress
Yeah.
big time next
Yep.
year, and he's not going to be reliable. But if you go into that thinking, it's just surprises next year as
That's
well.
also
So you have a couple, like a good rotation the Blue Jays have, and if this guy can just sneak in there and do this once in a while, you know what I mean? Every 4th start, get lit up, but be solid for 3. Be unreal.
It really does feel like these kids, these kids, they're going out there and they know that they're being watched. They know that this is an audition and they are stepping up, man. All the kids. It's really fun to watch. And I thought like, well, that's it for Blue Jays. I'm not going to watch anymore. Rah, rah, rah. They threw it all away, trade everybody. And then I find myself watching.
Yeah, like it's a healthy competition. So they're playing for a roster next year, but they're also on the business side of things. They're also auditioning for other teams too. Because
Yeah.
like if
Valuable assets.
I don't, I don't need to say names, but could be anyone. If they don't find a fit with the Blue Jays next year, well, if they play well, they should be able to get another contract or be traded somewhere else. So
It
It's
never
cool.
hurts to make your assets more valuable.
never hurts to do as good as you can do and be the best that you can be, right, Gary?
Just like Wendy Brooks Media, I'm telling you. Social media used to give me all the anxieties. Not anymore, all thanks to that beautiful woman. Hit her up if you hate social media as well, and she'll make it easier for you. As well, hello to our friends over at Property Guys, our buddy Dax, and many, many others. Kevin over at Hammer Time Roofing. We love all of you. Aquaman, Deneb Finishing, SCS, Nickel Plumbing and Heating.
Where are you reading this?
My brain.
Well done.
That's a cool little banner there. Hey, One Bad Pod.
That's
New
good.
show, the newest one dropped on Friday. We're recording some more here tomorrow. They keep getting better, man.
Mm-hmm.
Those shows, that One Bad Podcast. I think once everyone sort of realizes that it's out there and they start really like binge listening to it, you are
Yeah.
going to just lose
That's where
it.
it's
And
gonna
going to take off because it's so cool. And they always leave you with those cliffhangers, so you always want to hear the next one. They're really good at that.
I've enjoyed it. I love the All Out of Angst podcast. That's my favorite one right now. I've been really invested. There's been a little bit of a blunder there, but we won't
Did
get
you ever
into
figure
that.
about? No, I'd like to know. Like,
I
is
don't
there
know.
an episode 7 posted? Because
There's an episode 7 posted.
episode 7 isn't supposed to be posted until Thursday, and there isn't even one that exists yet. So
No,
that's
it's
what had
just
me a
6
little worried.
again.
So it's just a double 6. That's okay.
I've listed to both.
Yeah, with Uncle Mike and Matt from all the bands, we are doing another recording of that tomorrow, as they are our Tuesday guests here. And then it's episode 100. Coach Mazer, you've been with me from the very start, more than anyone else. You've been the first guy who did anything with this Dufferin Avenue Media Network with me, and now your baby is about to turn 100.
Are you referencing
Episode 100.
the first episode, or are you referencing
I'm referencing this as a whole. I'm using episode 100 as a holy
lost-
cow, look how far we've gone since
lot-
the days when you and I would
yeah.
sit in this garage and pretend to make a stage out of
Oh,
garbage.
Okay.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I thought you meant first conversations like at Los Palapas when we went out for lunch
Rob
that one
Lovelace.
time.
Rob
So
Lovelace.
Rob Lovelace, or when we went out for coffee
Yeah.
on.
You
was
held
it
my
your
hand so
birthday?
many times, man.
Was
It
it
might have been.
Shane's birthday?
That was Endo's birthday.
Endo's
Over at
birthday.
Taste Buds. Hello to our
And then
friends
we
at
were
Taste Buds.
standing by there, and he asked me why I was here, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm just meeting someone." He's like, "Oh, I'm just meeting someone too." He's like, "I'm actually meeting Gary." I'm like, "Oh, me too."
I
He
planned
set
that.
up a
You were a
triple,
gift.
a
You were a
double
gift.
and we hung out. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's exciting. 100 episodes.
It's nuts. That's
and then-
100
and then
hours of live
everything else
content.
Is spawning the correct word? Anything, everything else that has spawned off of this? So
It's the umbrella growing and opening up.
mhm. It's been
And
good.
you deserve this success more than anyone else, because there was numerous times where it'd be 2:30 in the morning, and I would call you like, I don't know what I'm doing. This is stupid. Why won't anyone listen to my smart ideas? What's happening? Why did anyone see my dream? Everyone thinks I'm crazy. And then you'd be like, man, I like baseball stars. And you just talk me off the ledge. And you're so
I
good
don't
at
think
that.
you sounded like that. Actually.
I did. Well, in my head, I did. I would just whine to you because I was literally blinded by this thing, and I was trying to understand why I couldn't explain it so other people could see it.
Well, I think a lot of people still don't understand this realm.
It's a
to be
good
honest
point.
with you, I think that's a lot to process, because somebody has a traditional job or they have whatever, but it's marketing in general is sometimes hard for people to grasp, I would say, and so they don't. It's just foreign to them. And then I also think the whole social media platform, you had your anxieties. People are willy-nilly free to blast everything about their life on a platform, a Facebook or whatever, but they're still not quite sure that they're being shown content, and you can actually customize it with what you want to see if you just keep clicking the stuff you like. You know what I mean?
And I am very, very excited to announce that we're going to announce a very big thing that involves you watching and becoming a part of this network. I know, Marge. We'll feed you right away. Okay, Dragon,
That's
you
a
want to
sweet
roll some
What
some
time
Frankie
is it?
fingers out?
Your
What are you
show.
talking about?
What time is
Hold
it?
on, wait for
Dufferin
you.
Ave Media Network lottery.
There it is. No,
Oh,
not
okay.
the lottery. Sorry, we just had the intro. How banger is that intro? Jeez. There we go. Nailed it, bud.
I can't hear anything.
It's all good. It's just,
All right.
We got all the buttons changed around
Mhm.
in there, so he's still getting used to it.
I've noticed that a couple times.
Yeah, we're learning. And it's all for the better. I like to say it's like Tiger Woods going back and working on his swing again. So on Wednesday, the 100th episode of your show, we are going to be announcing a new project that will involve you. If you've ever wondered how you can help out with this network, how you can help make the world a better place, if you
Are we having a
agree with all the
telethon?
stuff we're talking about. It's not a telethon.
All right.
But it is a way for you to share your ideas with us, for you to find a way to come in here, or be it Zoom with us during the show.
A comment box.
Way more than that.
All right.
Way, way more. Because you know how we feel about comments and all that stuff. Ew. But if it's done the right way, then yes. That's all I'll say for now is yes. But it's a huge, huge announcement. It's something we've been working on now for a couple of weeks to get set up.
Who's been working on it?
Network Grind and the boys. Not me, obviously, because I don't know how anything works. But for you, it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be fantastic for us as well because our team is about to grow a lot more. We found a way to bring you in here, and to bring you on the set, and to bring you up to that
That's exciting.
TV, which is going to be fun.
Is this similar to things we've talked about?
Sort of. You won't know. It'll be confusing. It sounds like we've got about 40 seconds left. Anything else you want to say here before we walk off?
The viewing room
So
is really good, and I really like the little sound takes, those little, what are they called? Info, those little commercial, those little promos that happen before another show. So when you listen to the Spotify's,
LB did a good job on those. The audio.
Really good.
Yeah. We need to make more of those.
I really like it.
Along with our voice demo reel that we're going to do.
I shared it with my wife, and she's like, "What's wrong with that?" I was like, "No, I'm sharing it because it's good." She's like, "Yeah, it is good." And then we walk different directions.
That's good. I think he's trying to play us out. Look at this. We're not even on the screen anymore. Oh, okay. And we're still on. Well, with that in mind, to your lovely wife, Sarah. We love you, Sarah. Thank you so much. Remember, karma is very, very real, all right? So do something good today, and you'll notice that your life will get better tomorrow. I promise you. Until then, have a great rest of your Monday on behalf of LB Dragoon and the great Coach Mazer. We love you so much. Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.